And thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. After rain, fog, and cold temperatures, we saw a bit of a bright spot at the end of the day today with a little bit of sunshine. Sounds like it won't last that long, though. Let's get straight to Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo with more on the forecast. Jeremy?
It's already back. Looks cool, though. The fog's taken over downtown. Here on the South Hill, visibility near zero. I was just outside going, I felt like John Cena. 31 degrees as we currently sit, so the fog is freezing fog out there. That means it is likely going to be a bit slick in a couple of areas with how dense it is. Visibility down to near zero out in Airway Heights as well, about a quarter of a mile as you make your way out to Spokan Valley. So the fog is dense in areas. Moses Lake, mile and a half, afraid a little bit less. That's just the way it works in a pattern like this. That fog likely sticks around a bit longer, but look what happens. Tomorrow, I think it's a little bit of fog to start the day. We find a little bit of sunshine in the second half of the day. And I think it's a little more than what we saw today, and I think that bumps our temperatures up ever so slightly. But Saturday, a mix of clouds and sun eventually turns into rain overnight. That rain, well, it comes to an end Sunday morning. So overall, it looks like we're not really going to notice the rain. What we are going to notice is a little sunshine each day.
Looking forward to that, certainly, Jeremy. Thank you very much. Just 24 hours ago, Spokane's Police Chief Craig Model announcing his resignation. The search for someone to fill his shoes will soon be underway. And today, KREM 2 sat down with the Police Advisory Committee chair. She explains her preferred qualities of a Spokane Chief of Police after working with the last 8.
A number of the chiefs have been really good listeners. They have a pulse on what's going on in the community, and they do pay attention to what's happening.
She says the hiring process will take several months in order to find the candidate who will best serve the city. We also sat down with Midel one-on-one today to find out more about his reasons for resigning and his future plans. Take a listen.
Would I be sitting here with you right now having this conversation if Nadine had won re-election?
We have that answer and an in-depth interview coming up in just 10 minutes. Well, the newest section of Spokane's North South Freeway is officially open tonight. Today's ribbon-cutting ceremony officially opened the section from the Freya Francis interchange to Wellesley. Drivers can now use an extra mile and a half of the freeway. The design of this section also honors the Hilliard neighborhood it runs through.
To pay attention to some of the details that really represent the neighborhoods and the communities that we are honored to serve. And so it's a tribute to the former rail yard and to the history of the Hilliard neighborhood.
It may be just a small part of the much larger project, and there is still a lot left to do, but the opening of the interchange is a big deal for Hilliard businesses. And now to our night beat with a quick look at the day's top stories. An investigation is underway in Cheney tonight after it was announced today that a boy is in custody for making threats and potentially building bombs. Cheney police say they got those reports just before 3 o'clock yesterday afternoon. Authorities then found 3 devices that had been modified to become explosive, they say. 1 in Medical Lake and 2 in Cheney. Authorities also searched Wynn Academy, Cheney Middle School, and the district's transportation department, but did not find anything there.
The devices were rudimentary. They had to be fuse lit, so they couldn't be detonated from a remote source or anything. So without somebody there to light the fuse, they weren't going to go off.
Cheney police say the suspect is in custody tonight, and his family, they say, has been cooperative. A car crashed into a house in the Hilliard area of Spokane today. It happened at Wellesley and Regal this morning. Spokane police say this appears that the driver suffered a medical emergency and that driver is cooperating in the investigation. The car plowed through one homeowner's front yard before crashing into another house next door. The Red Cross is now helping the residents of that home that was hit. It has been more than 2 weeks since a house fire in Spokan Valley killed 2 young boys, and now firefighters are out in the community teaching children the importance of fire safety. Spokan Valley firefighters visited a young girl's home in Liberty Lake after seeing a video of the girl asking about fire safety. Firefighters surprised 10-year-old Quinn Whitley with the fire truck.
They made it seem seamless, like it was just another day to them, and they were so happy to come, and it just meant the world that they would come and reach out to us to teach us and educate us.
The fire department says they try to visit all elementary schools in Spokane Valley every year. They want to educate students on the importance of fire safety and smoke alarms. The Washington State Supreme Court has issued a temporary stay on the ruling from a Whitman County judge that granted WSU and OSU control over decisions for the Pac-12 Conference. On Tuesday, Judge Gary Libby agreed with WSU and OSU, who argued the 10 other schools lost privilege over decision-making within the conference when they decided to withdraw. Now the two universities have until November 28th to respond to the High Court's decision. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website. That's KREM.com. New tonight in national news, Republican Representative George Santos announcing today that he will not run for re-election in 2024. This after the House Ethics Committee released a report citing substantial evidence that Santos knowingly used campaign funds for personal use, among several other claims. Santos also faces federal charges of conspiracy, false statements, wire fraud, falsification of records, aggravated identity theft, and credit card fraud. In other national news, a jury has convicted the man who assaulted Representative Nancy Pelosi's husband inside their San Francisco home. David DePape broke in last October with the intention of holding the former House Speaker hostage. She was not there, but her husband Paul Pelosi was, and he was struck multiple times with a hammer, fracturing his skull and injuring his hands and his arms. Jurors heard testimony from Paul Pelosi and the suspect before reaching the verdict.
What the defense argued wasn't that the attack didn't occur or that the DePape wasn't the one who actually attacked Paul Pelosi. What they said is, based on the charges, the attempted kidnapping, the assault on an immediate member of a federal official, that the prosecution couldn't prove it because that wasn't his goal.
In a statement, a spokesperson for Nancy Pelosi said that she and her family are deeply grateful for the outpouring of prayers and warm wishes for Paul Pelosi, adding that he continues to make progress in his recovery. DePape faces 50 years in prison. Tonight, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu spoke exclusively with CBS News. The interview came as we learned of a possible deal on the table to free hostages in exchange for a 3 to 5 day ceasefire. And here is some of what he had to say.
We'll have a temporary ceasefire if we can get our hostages back. I don't think it serves that purpose for me to elaborate further on that. We're doing every effort. It's part of our, our three war goals. One, to destroy Hamas. Second, to bring back our hostages to Israel. And third, to ensure that that threat, that terrorist threat, never arises again from Gaza, and that Gaza has a different future, better for us, for the Palestinians, and for the entire Middle East.
Right now, there are still more than 200 hostages abducted by Hamas. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time.